Hey guys, today we have Sanjeev and he is having total 3 years of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Sanjeev, how are you?
Fine, I'm fine. How are you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay, so Sanjeev, can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Yes, my name is Sanjay Pandit. I am from Durgapur, West Bengal. I have
Mm-hmm.
completed a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. After that, I have joined SPI Innovation as a Java backend developer, as well as
Mm-hmm.
gained experience in JavaScript and Python. In 2024, I joined RS Software, which is a fintech domain company. There, I worked in UPI-based application, which is a monolithic. My roles and responsibility was to support and find the
Mm-hmm.
bugs and fix those bugs and also develop new feature in that application. If there is a bugs to analyze those bugs, I used to analyze logs, thread dumps, and whatever, and also I analyze the application performance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever may be the issue, based on that issue, if code fixes required, I do the code fixes and release it. And parallelly, there was also migration going on the monolithic services to the microservices. There also
Microservice.
a developer,
So can
yes,
you tell
there
me the
also
challenges that you are facing while converting from monolithic or to microservice?
basically the challenges we are facing, like monolithic is a whole application where all the codes are
Mm-hmm.
in the same application where we have to firstly find out whatever the domain means, whatever the segregation we
Mm-hmm.
can do, and whatever the dependency is related to different module. Suppose
Okay.
we are using a API based application which is basically
Mm-hmm.
merchant side. So what we do, we just find out the segregation. We can just keep the make one application for the one micro for services for the merchant side and one micro for services for the transaction. I'm giving this
Mm-hmm.
just example. And so transactions, we know that it is coming in a large volume.
Mm-hmm.
So database side will be also more rather than the merchant side. And based on that, we were dividing those monolithic to microservices.
Okay, okay. So, have you used any design pattern in your transition?
Yeah, we have used singleton design patterns and
Okay, so can you tell
factory
me
design
what is
patterns.
singleton design pattern and its set safety issues?
Yeah, singleton design patterns is basically a class
Mm-hmm.
for which only one object is only created.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is one object, we can just use the particular object only. So
Okay.
to make it thread safety, what we do, we just use a double locking algorithm,
Okay.
double locking pattern. So that, and also to make a singleton patterns, what we do, we make a constructor as a private, then we create a
Mm-hmm.
public method for get instance, and based on calling a get instance method, we create a object. And in the get instance object, we use a double locking, synchronize, and checking null whether that object is null or not.
Okay, so how does Spring make singleton beans thread safe?
Can you please
Okay, so how does
explain?
Spring make singleton beans thread safe?
No.
Okay. Okay, so have you heard about scopes like Spring Singleton scope means one bean instance per application context, not per thread?
Yeah, with
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
have done by making the at the rate component or
Mm.
annotations, service annotations, which the
Okay.
beans
Yeah,
were
yeah.
created.
So actually,
So
Spring Boot does not automatically make beans thread safe. Developers like you and me must design them as a thread safe, like by proper using of synchronization, thread local proxies, or we also could change the scope to prototype depending on needs, right?
okay.
Okay. Okay, so can you please tell me what is a factory method pattern?
Factory pattern is basically we create if there is one interface, and that
Mm-hmm.
interface is implemented by the multiple multiple child classes. So
Mm-hmm.
based on that, which type of object we can use. So based
Mm-hmm.
on condition, we can create that object. Suppose we can say if we, for example, if we want to draw if you want to calculate the area, then what
Mm-hmm.
type of area we can calculate, what object we need. If for
Mm-hmm.
circle we have to just create a circle object, for square we have to create a square object, and for rectangle we have to create a rectangle object. Based on
Okay.
the conditions we create the object.
So, Sanjeev, I would like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structure step by step by myself, expert and MNC's interviews. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There's a 99% chance that interviewers will ask questions from this material. Okay. So basically it contains a lot of material categorized by experience level, means each experience level has different material with all possible interview question answer for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding questions, TreeMap coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in the below description. And if someone needs this material, plus two real client enterprise projects for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check the interview preparation kit. I will provide the link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview.
Yes.
Okay, so as you said, you had worked on monolithic application, right? And you are still working on converting monolithic to microservices, right? So can you tell me when is monolithic architecture still a good choice?
When we see if there is multiple module,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
they are tightly coupled to each other. So
Okay.
in that case, if we call, if we want, if we distribute the monolithic into microservices and
Mm-hmm.
which is tightly coupled, then the call will be from one services to other services will be more. In that
Okay.
case, there will be latency also. So in that scenario, I think monolithic is better than the microservices, and also
Mm-hmm.
small scale application also we should build a monolithic rather than microservices, because microservices to manage the microservices is a bigger task, and each microservice we have to keep a different support. So and also analyzing logs, so it's difficult. So in that scenario, we say so they use monolithic.
Okay. Okay. So how would you handle inter-service communication in microservices?
Inter-service communication can be handled by three ways. One is using fan client, and one
Mm-hmm.
is using REST template, and another is async process. And also one more
Okay.
is web client. So fan client is we basically use fan client because if we can use service discovery. Each of the
Mm-hmm.
microservices is registered to the service discovery. So what
Okay.
happens? We don't have to know the IP address of the other
Mm-hmm.
services. Only by application name we can just call the APIs of the other services. Whereas in case of REST template, we can't use right now because it is the older, and also it is synchronized way. So
Mm-hmm.
and web client, we can say for the async communication, where we can call then wait for the response. So in that case, we can use web client, and async communication we can say Kafka. We can just post the message in the topics Kafka, and consumer can read it. So that way.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me the difference between synchronous and asynchronous communication between inter-service? Okay. So let me repeat. Can you tell me what are the differences between the synchronous and asynchronous communication?
Yeah, synchronous communication is basically when we call a API, then
Mm-hmm.
at that time we in synchronous we will wait for the response. Then only the line execution will be happen to the next line. In case of asynchronous, we just call the API, we then wait for the response, and we can execute the next line also. So
Mm-hmm.
in case of web client, what happened? Every lines are we just call the APIs, then we wait for the we and then we execute the next line. At the end of the method, we can after getting the getting the response, we can execute it.
Mm-hmm.
Parallelly, we can do. A
Okay. Okay.
completable future can be used as my
Correct. Correct.
knowledge.
Do you know the difference between list and array list?
List and array list.
Uh,
Yeah, list is basically a parent, and whereas
mm-hmm.
array list is a child. So we can
Mm-hmm.
say list is the interface which can contain list means array list, hash set,
Okay.
queue. So all
Okay.
were the child.
What is the internal structure of array list?
Uh, array list basically used to store a variable.
Okay, we
Uh,
know it is used to store the variables, but I am more interested to know the internal structure, like behind the scene, what happens when we push an element into the array list.
Yeah. Basically, when we push the element in the array list, so what happen? It can just go to the proper positions. Then,
Mm-hmm.
whenever it can increases its size. Default size is 16. When we fill by 75, then it can increase automatically.
Mm-hmm.
So that is basically, and it can
Okay.
also provide multiple methods.
So how it grows, what happens when a array list exceeds its initial capacity? Do you know the growth formula of array list?
Yeah, basically default size is 16. If it is 75% occupied,
Mm-hmm.
then it is growth by twice. And again, it fills 75, then it again growth by
Mm-hmm.
initial size, the size, whatever the size is, it into twice.
Okay. Uh, can you tell me how does TreeMap maintain order?
TreeMap maintain order by the with the help of tree structure
Mm-hmm.
algorithm, and
Mm-hmm.
whereas we can say we if there is an object we can store, then we have to pass a comparator and
Okay.
describe in which how we can define which object should go for in the top, which object should go in the lower, and we can do it with the help of comparable also. So in this way,
Do you know like
tree
tree
map,
map is nothing but a red black tree?
red black tree,
Hmm.
no.
Yeah, yeah. So actually, tree map is nothing but a red black tree that orders entries using the keys comparator or natural comparable. It's like
Mhm.
a self-balancing binary search tree. Internally, I just told you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what happens if two keys compare equal in the tree map?
Uh, if two key compare equals in the tree map, then one key can override the another value. Means if
Overriding.
to say, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Overriding will happen if two keys compare equals. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me the difference between hash set and linked hash set.
Link hash will basically store a variable in the
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, whereas hash
Mm-hmm.
does not follows any order. So basically, if we insert there is a key, if we insert A, B, C in a order, then it will
Uh-huh.
contain in the otherwise in link hash set. Whether hash set does not contain in order, it can give a result in the while iterating in the random order A, B, C or B, A, C something.
Okay, so which one would you choose for caching most recently used items?
I would choose links hashtag
Why?
because most it was just in the otherwise when we just
Mm-hmm.
when we want to get the last one, then it will give me the last one from the order. In the link list, it follow the structure.
Okay. Okay, so do you know about weak hash map?
But
Weak hash map.
weak hash map,
Mm-hmm.
no, weak hash map I have.
Okay, okay. Yeah, basically, it uses, weak hash map uses weak references for keys. When a key is no longer strongly referenced elsewhere, its entry can be GC'd automatically. Uh, we use this in a soft references and weak references inside the garbage collector memory management. Have you heard about it? Weak references and strong references.
Yeah, I have heard weak references is basically if it is not used by it is not used by any
Mm-hmm.
variable, means not particularly declared by any variable. So what happened, garbage collector called all the variables object which is not referenced by or not used, and then finally it went to the garbage collector. And
Mm-hmm.
whereas a strong reference is which cannot be called because it is initialized with the particular variable which is referenced with
Mm-hmm.
the particular variable, so it cannot be collected garbage. So there is a leak happens, memory leakage.
Mm-hmm. Correct, correct. Have you heard about fail fast and fail safe iterators?
Yeah, fail fast is basically ArrayList, iterator, ArrayList, hash map, where
Mm-hmm.
whenever the multi-threading comes, then in multi-threading, if two threads come to just if there is one value key which we want to remove, then another
Mm-hmm.
value which want to access. In that case, there is a scenario fail fast.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas fail safe, we can say concurrent hash map copy on array list. So there's
Mm-hmm.
where the fail safe, where one thread can only access the particular object, particular
Okay. Okay.
value.
Okay, so what happens when two threads access the same variable simultaneously?
When in what case? Two, I
Like
didn't
two
understand.
threads access the same variable simultaneously.
One by one or
No, no, simultaneously, concurrently.
concurrent. Suppose if a variable is 5, then
Uh,
if you want to increment is by
mm-hmm.
1, then if it want to increment, then at the time, then both the trade will read the same value 5, then
Mm-hmm.
plus 1
Mm-hmm.
will be 6. Whether the calculation is incorrect,
Mm-hmm.
it must be a 7.
Okay. And how can a synchronized help avoid it?
Synchronize avoid it because only one thread can access this the particular variable, and it can say another thread to wait until the
Mm-hmm.
one thread can complete the execution of that variable, use of that variable. Then if one thread can use it, then another thread can come and increase it. So we can use atomic integer is one of
Mm-hmm.
the,
Okay, so yeah, as you said, we could use atomic integers as well. And do we have another ways other than atomic integers? Do you know about
uh,
re-entrant locks?
yeah, reentrant lock is also there.
Hmm.
uh,
Okay. So have you used re-entrant lock in practical or in your personal
uh,
project?
Currently, I haven't used, but I have an idea to it can also
Okay, okay.
use to save from a deadlock timeout,
Okay.
and
So do you know
we
the
can
difference? Can you please tell me the difference between process and thread?
process and trade. Trade is basically executing a particular task, and
Hmm.
whereas a process is something like if multiple application is going on. So in one process, one application is running, and second process in second application is running. In the application only, there are multiple trades. Trades are basically and executing the tasks one by one. So that's.
How do they share memory differently?
Uh, Differently. Basically, I can say no, no idea.
Okay, so basically threads in the same process share heap memory and static fields, right?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay, so and process have isolated memory, like
Yes.
inter-process communication required to share data. So threads, they share the heap memory, but the process have the isolated memory. What's the difference between wait and sleep method?
Wait method basically whenever there is a producer and consumer, one is the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens whenever the consumer, when the producer wait until give a task to the consumer until the
Mm-hmm.
consumer thread is free. So
Okay.
wait method is help to wait to make that thread wait, and
Mm-hmm.
whenever the consumer thread notify it, then the wait method is executed and go to the next line. And in this way, wait method work, and sleep method is basically it make the thread to asleep for the particular time period,
Mm-hmm.
which is say time waiting, we can say, in a
Mm-hmm.
thread.
Okay, okay. Okay,
When
so tell
we
me what happens if a thread throws an exception and it's not caught?
when a thread is throw the exception, then the thread is released, and another lock is released, and the another thread can access that particular block.
Okay. So basically the thread terminates.
Yeah.
Uncaught exception in the main thread may end the JVM if not handled. Okay. Do you know what is thread local?
Yeah, ThreadLocal is a separate memory for the
Mm-hmm.
thread where the multiple object means we can just store in the particular thread whenever we
Mm-hmm.
need. Then with that thread we can access that particular objects or any value.
Okay.
As I know that ThreadLocal is used in the multiple database, handle the multiple database.
Okay.
I haven't done it, but I have
Mm-hmm.
gone.
So tell me in Spring Boot or Spring Framework, what happens internally when the application context starts?
Yeah, when the application context start, it tries firstly is try to create all the bins which were annotated by the at the rate component services,
Mm-hmm.
and creating the bins also where
Mm-hmm.
at the rate configuration, and integrates all the dependency injections and
Mm-hmm.
database configuration, whatever the configuration which is there, which able to fix, and also at the end it can start the our server, REST server, so that
Mm-hmm.
we can get the access of the APIs.
Okay. What's the difference between component service and repository annotation?
Component service and repository
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
annotation both are held to create a bean, but its repository only say that it is a database layer where we can make a only database queries. That type of is one type of indication, we can say, but there is no such difference. Both can create a bean.
Are there any functional differences or just conventions?
Naming conventions, no function.
Okay. So yeah, mostly naming convention, but except repository. Why? Because it adds exceptions translation. Otherwise, almost same, majorly same.
Okay.
What happens during Spring Boot auto configuration?
In Spring Boot auto configuration, which help to create all manage all the configuration,
Mm-hmm.
um, like dependency injection, and integrates uh, all the database configuration,
Mm-hmm.
and Kafka configuration, all this configuration which will be auto configured with the
Mm-hmm.
help of auto configuration.
Okay. Can we exclude or override an auto configuration? B.
Yeah, we can exclude it with the help of there is a one parameter inside the at the rate Spring Boot application annotation
Mm-hmm.
excluded, and
Okay.
inside it we can provide a class. In this way, we can exclude it, and also override we can do by the at the
Okay.
rate conditional annotation.
Okay, so tell me what's the difference between a Spring Bean and a normal Java object?
Spring Bean is basically stored in the IOC container,
Mm-hmm.
where basically normal Java object is basically we can it's also stored in the means it can we can say it can a temporary. We can use
Mm-hmm.
it only once. We can if the another thread want to use it, it cannot
Mm-hmm.
use that
Okay.
particular object. So that
So
is a
how
main.
how does transactional work internally?
Transaction annotation basically work when there is a multiple database operation. What happen if
Mm-hmm.
any of the database operation is fails? Then all the operations is roll back.
Okay.
So that we can say there is multiple isolation level read
Mm-hmm.
committed, and isolation level means if the value is committed in the database, then only
Mm-hmm.
it can read. Or and also propagation, different propagation level, whether if internal nested transactional annotation is used, whether we want to
Mm-hmm.
continue the parent transaction or not. So those
Mm-hmm.
way we can handle transaction annotation.
Okay. Okay. So what happens if a transaction is started inside another one?
Inside,
Another one.
yeah, it can we can just define it with the help of propagation. I can say,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, yeah,
not
it
aware much.
depends on the
So
propagation.
propagation, if mandatory, then it can follow the previous propagation. If not mandatory, if you want to new propagation, then it can
Mm-hmm.
follow the new one. So in this way we can decide it.
Correct. Basically, required joins existing transaction, requires new,
Okay.
suspends outer transaction and start a new one. Nested creates a save point inside the outer transaction. Uh, so
Okay.
that's how this works, and it depends on the propagation. Uh,
Yes.
do you know the difference between application context and bin factory, and which one is lazy initialized?
BeanFactory is lazy initialization, and application factory is eager. Basically, in case of eager application factory, whatever the beans is, we have
Mm-hmm.
to create.
Mm-hmm.
So it can create at the time of application start only. In case of Bean
Okay.
factory, it can only be created when it is required.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the mostly different. And in case bin factory is only used when we have the server with less memory and
Mm-hmm.
less CPU utilization. In that case, we can use an application, and the other one is faster.
Mm-hmm. Correct, correct. Okay, so do you know how do stream pipelines work internally?
Stream pipeline basically work with the terminate and intermediate method.
Mm-hmm.
If intermediate method is basically map filter, we can just at the end and terminate with which will provide the result for each, and is terminate, collect is terminate, dot get is also terminate. So those were the terminate. To terminate, at the end of the terminate, we cannot use that stream, and calling the terminate only we can execute all that filter map methods.
What's the difference between map and flat map?
Map is basically help to modify the existing element, whereas
Mm-hmm.
flat map, if the nested array list is there, then it
Mm-hmm.
help to make it flat, means a single array list,
Mm-hmm.
nested array list to single array list. That
Okay,
flat map can do.
okay, okay. So how does parallel stream work?
Parallel stream basically help to do the data operation parallelly. It can
Mm-hmm.
with the help of multiple threads, it
Okay.
can we can just divide the particular data, large series of data set
Mm-hmm.
parallelly, and then with the help of calling the multiple thread, it can
Uh-huh.
do the operation parallelly.
Okay, okay. Okay, so now I'll give you a few coding questions. Sanjeev, can you please share your screen and open any Java editor? I'll share
Yeah.
a coding question one by one. Okay, so question is, you are given a list of employees. Okay,
Oh.
there is a class of employee. Employee has its name, age, and salary. Okay, there are three attributes in the
Mm.
employee class. And
Mm.
yeah, first, okay, so let me complete the question.
Can we create the class or
Yes, yes, create a class.
okay, you can complete it then.
And you have to sort the employees by the highest salary. If the salary is equal, uh, youngest age will be the, I mean, in the bucket list, right? And if the same age, then lexicographically smallest name.
Okay.
Name, age, and salary.
Mm. Using stream or anything.
Anything like any approach you could apply, either stream or without stream. First, if salary is the highest, then it will come first. Like there, two-person, one is 30,000 salary, another is 50,000 salary. So in first place, 50,000 salaries employees will come.
Salary. Oh, this way I can remember. Otherwise, this one.
I think A is employee here, but B is not.
Is this way? Is this the way? Uh,
Or you could try
I,
the without Stream API. It is fine if you want.
Actually, I can't remember the syntax right
Okay.
now.
We could use comparator dot comparing double. First, we will do with the salary, then reverse, then dot then comparing it with age, then again dot then comparing something like that. Have you used?
No, I haven't used it
Okay.
actually.
Uh, okay, so it's fine. So let me tell you. First, we will create a comparator object. Comparator inside there is an employee. Then CMP is equal to comparator. Then we could do comparator dot comparing double. in the comparing double, we will compare the salary, then we will do dot, then comparing it. In this, we will compare the age, then we will do dot, then comparing. And in this, we will just do lexicographically smallest name. So this is how we can do it. Okay.
Okay, I will look into it. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, then let me give you a different question. So, do you know about simple LRU cache?
Yeah, a simple error case means last one we can just extract from the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Means LIFO
So, will you
structure.
be able to implement LRU cache by using linked hash set or hash map?
Uh,
So
LRU
don't
system.
implement, just tell me, will you be able to?
I'm not aware about
Okay,
much
okay.
LRU. Can
Okay.
it is just like that whether which we have used the last key most used key will be just we get
Mm,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
the
something
LRU.
like that.
Can I try once?
Okay, so please try after this call. I think we are going to wind up. It's done from my end, and it was a very, very nice interview. Just practice